Center number 4. Mainit. Nararamdaman na ang init ng bawat isa ngayon dito sa ating virtual room. By the way, moving forward in our presenter number 4, we have from Emilio Aguinaldo College and also from Laguna State Polytechnic University, Mr. Mark Gabriel W. Aguilar, and Mr. Reynald Brian V. Domasian with a research paper entitled Beyond the Classroom, a preliminary study on the research capability of educators in the Philippines.
Hello, everyone. Is my slide accept our advance congratulations for successfully organizing this momentous event. So we are here to share our study, as mentioned by Sir Marlon, entitled Beyond the Classroom, a preliminary study on the research capability of educators in the Philippines, which probably will raise some eyebrows after the presentation. So as you listen in our presentation, I would like you to keep an open mind and listen carefully so that you would understand things that are being discussed. All right, so let me now proceed with the rationale of the study. All right, so regardless of any field of study, research plays a significant role. In fact, it is so important, it has been incorporated into the trifocal functions of higher education institutions in the Philippines alongside teaching and community extension. In addition to HEI's functions, research is also essential in the accreditation process of academic programs in the country. The AACUP, the PACCOA, the PASCU all place great emphasis on research as a criterion for accreditation. However, despite its importance in various areas of study and in society as a whole, and the responsibility given to HEIs, producing quality research has proven to be a challenge over the years. The reasons for this difficulty are unfortunately not entirely clear. The scarcity of studies conducted on this topic in the Philippines was also observed, with most previous studies focusing on the research capabilities of students rather than educators, and those that did involve educators mostly conducted in other countries. Additionally, the majority of studies in this area have focused on educators' knowledge and attitude towards research writing, with a lack of research examining knowledge and attitude towards research presentation and publication, which are crucial processes for sharing research findings. Although I agree that the most important process is ensuring that educators are able to produce researches with significance, we cannot just overlook their knowledge towards the other two processes, because these are as critical, given that there is a plethora of dubious research conferences and predatory journals out there. So all of this information have motivated us to conduct this study. So for the objectives, through this study, we were able to determine the levels of knowledge and attitude of Filipino educators towards research writing, conference presentation, and journal publication. We have also determined if there are significant differences on their levels of knowledge and attitude towards the three areas when grouped according to their demographic profile. Specifically, age, their sexuality, educational attainment, and years of teaching. So for our methodology, we have utilized descriptive research design and have employed a quantitative research approach. Regarding the number of respondents, the plan was to use Slovin's formula to determine the sample size needed. However, with the unavailability of information on the exact number of educators in Philippine higher education institutions, we have decided to limit the respondents to 100. And these are educators specialized in various fields, from 5 HEIs in Region 4A, Philippines, who were eventually selected randomly. 100 because it is acceptable for a preliminary study. So this study is a preliminary study. Given that it is believed to be the minimum sample size needed to get meaningful results concurred by many statisticians according to Fox 2022. Frequencies, percentages, mean scores guided by a 4-point Likert scale, as you can see on this slide, were computed to measure levels of attitude and knowledge. Meanwhile, t-tests and analysis of variance, also known as ANOVA, were performed to determine significant differences. All right, so let us now proceed with the results. So as you could see on table number 1, it is clear that educators possess a low level of knowledge towards research writing. This result is due to their poor understanding of various aspects of conducting and writing a research paper. For instance, educators falsely believe that the review of related literature can only be done by separating studies and literatures based on where it was conducted, even it is a fact that we can also write it thematically. They also wrongfully believe that the IMRAD format is the same as the thesis format of 5 chapters, despite the fact that it is completely a different way of writing. And they think that researchers can decide on their own about the number of respondents needed for their quantitative studies. But in reality, one needs to consider the appropriate sample size of respondents for a study to achieve statistical confidence that would make the results valid and reliable. So the results suggest that Filipino educators in general lack the necessary knowledge to conduct and write research papers. This result, however, raises concerns about the effectiveness of professors teaching research in the country, given that these educator respondents have all completed college, hence have conducted research already. In regards to the attitudes towards research writing, we have determined that Filipino educators exhibit a positive attitude. They believe that conducting and writing research is both feasible and worthwhile, expressing confidence in their ability to complete research papers on their own, and indicating that data gathering is not a challenging task. However, their low level of knowledge in this area may pose a problem, because while their attitude is very positive, and it may give them the confidence to conduct and write, their limited understanding may result in subpar research papers that are likely to be rejected by conferences and journals, potentially leading to demotivation. This discrepancy may also signify certain misconceptions regarding research writing among Filipino educators. Now, let's talk about the educators' knowledge towards research conference presentation. Data suggests that the knowledge level of Filipino educators on research conference presentation is low as well. They strongly believe that there are panelists in conferences who will question, comment, and provide recommendations to presenters, similar to a thesis defense in HEIs, which may be the case in some, but not in all. They also agreed that the presentation time in conferences is between 30 minutes to an hour, which is not the reality, as conferences usually limit presentation time between 10 to 20 minutes. They also believe that conferences charge presentation fees, which is again false, given that not all conferences have such fees. So the sum result indicates that Filipino educators lack a full understanding of what a research conference is and basically how it works. Next is the attitude towards presentation at research conferences. So we can all see that in table 2, the presented data indicates that Filipino educators have also a positive attitude towards presenting in research conferences. They express that attending such event is not costly, that presenting in a conference could make significant difference in their careers, and that it is easy to find conferences as they are regularly organized. This result is actually concerning. Why? Because while the educators have a positive attitude, their low level of understanding towards what research conferences are and how they work could lead them to fall victim to predatory conferences that are really prevalent nowadays, without them even realizing it. Now, let us move on to the knowledge towards research publication. Table 1 reveals that surveyed educators have a low level of knowledge about research publication. Specifically, they mistakenly believe that most journals follow the 5-chapter thesis format, which is not the case, as most journals require papers to be in INMRAD form. They also agree that all journals charge publication fees, which is also untrue, given that a significant number of reputable journals offer free publication. They also think that Google Scholar is a reliable indexing database, which is false as well, as Google Scholar is home to several predatory journals that makes it unreliable. And most of you might be surprised, but for the information of everybody, Google Scholar doesn't have criteria or policies in place on what journals can and can't be indexed in. So basically, it's like Wikipedia. Everybody can just upload or be indexed on it. So the result underscores lack of adequate knowledge among Filipino educators about how research publication works, which could lead to poor practice. Now, let us proceed with the attitude towards research publication. So data shows that Filipino educators exhibit a positive attitude towards publishing their research in academic journals, as shown in table number 2. The results reveal that they do not believe that finding a suitable journal is time-consuming, that their research is not of sufficient quality to be accepted, and they also do not believe that they are unable to publish on their own. If we are going to look at this result, this is actually very good at first glance, because educators are positive, right, about publishing their work. However, this really presents a problem that needs to be addressed. The positive attitude of Filipino educators may lead to motivation and confidence in submitting their work for publication, but their lack of understanding of the process makes them vulnerable to predatory publishers and journals that could result in many educators' research articles ending up published in predatory ones, which in the first place are not publication that we can consider. So overall, in terms of knowledge and attitude towards research, Filipino educators have low level of knowledge, which could explain the challenges faced by many Philippine HEIs in this area, particularly when it comes to accreditation, while their attitude towards research is positive, suggesting their recognition of the important role it plays in their field and society, as well as its benefits to their careers.